Does your child have ADHD? Perhaps it's your niece, perhaps it's your nephew. Some kind of hyperactivity disorder, some kind of attention deficit, which they have put together as a combined diagnosis, ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Does your child or any child in your family line have ADHD? Because if you do, buckle your seatbelt, because you're about to get some faith, some hope and love from my teaching today. Because that is the three things, faith, hope, and love. Those are the three things that are missing in patients that I see today in the clinic. When they come in and they say that, Dr. Ben, I have a child who has ADHD, how can you help? And I literally use these three tools to give them insights and understanding. And that's where I want to talk about my caveat here, that I'm not going to go into all the details that I only talk about in the clinic, because those are things that are very personal. And I don't want to have my viewers on YouTube, like yourself, think to like your thoughts become unchecked. Like, I want you guys to actually have practical, actionable things to do while not getting too carried away with digging for information or stuff like that without proper guidance. And that's why I always emphasize on clinical care when the patient comes in right here in my clinic to actually be engaged with me. Okay, so the first thing really is the irreplaceable role of the father. And going back to the 3 pillars of health here that I teach all the time, right? Relationships that are broken, especially in the area of fathers. Okay, if your father is not present personally or in your previous generations, that means your granddad or your uncle, your granduncle, any father figure in your family tree who was not present, right? In the area of epigenetics, it's been shown that DNAs can be mutated. That means there can actually be a gene that codes for certain neurological flow in the brain that can be mutated in a way that is causing a disruption of the neurological flow. So, and a lot of those are actually mediated by toxic mindsets. And that's where I get into the second pillar, which is looking at toxic mindsets that is mediated by stress. Okay, so when someone has a broken relationship, literally the first thing that happens is the order of government at home, it's flipped. That means maybe the mom is in control, or the dad is absent. Maybe the dad's passed away or something like that. But for whatever reason, the dad is not around or dad is absent. Firstly, the thing that gets affected the most in that kid with ADHD is his or her identity, because identity givers are the fathers of the family. Okay, so if the father is absent, what happens is that the child is emotionally immature. The child is spiritually immature, because the child is designed by God to rely on the father for emotional, spiritual identity. Okay, in practical ways, the child is actually getting protection, getting provision, getting safety, as well as love. But love comes from both places, both the mom and the dad. But safety, protection, and provision comes primarily from the dad. Okay, so this is the first question we need to ask ourselves. Okay, the second one really is stress. Okay, I talked about stress coming from building up in a broken family, right, where the father's not in charge, or maybe in previous generations when the father's not in charge. And what happens is that there's actually this toxic mindset where parents actually feel like their kids are constantly angry and confrontational, and they can get really hostile. And these things actually happen for kids with ADHD because they are just emotionally unstable. So first they have lost their identity because it's not grounded in a healthy relationship with the father. And then coming off that, they start to develop toxic mindsets that can harm them. Okay, now this is also something that I make sure patients understand, that ADHD can be misdiagnosed. Okay, so a lot of ADHD symptoms like hyperactivity and short attention span, they are part of the ADHD disorder, but understand that a lot of people with stress, that means if it's some kind of broken relationship, it could be with the father, with the mother, with the uncle, whatever it is, but any kind of broken relationships that are in the home can bring about stress to the extent of causing attention deficit and hyperactivity. So if this resonates with you right now, your kid just may not have ADHD. Your kid just may be having a stress that is causing them to feel like they're not heard, and that's why there's this deep emotional insecurity and fear inside of them. Okay, so going back to these first two pillars, we really are looking at relationships first, and then the toxic mindsets that ensue from that. All right, now the very last one, and I'll end with this, is healthy mindset. And I know this is something that I just talked about, but in terms of the area of healthy mindsets, I want to drive home this very one point: joy. Okay, the mindset of joy, okay, not just mindsets that come out of stress that must be dealt with, specifically joy, is what we have found to help about 75% of children who have aggressive and defiant behavior. Okay, so when it comes to children with ADHD, because of the emotional makeup, the difficulties such as moodiness, depression, irritability, maybe low frustration threshold, joy is the one cure for that. That means my question to you, parent or uncle, auntie, or caretaker, how much joy are you giving that kid? Okay, if the father's role in the child is established, that's good. That's number one. Number two, if stress is low, very good. But number three, is there joy? And often parents whom I tell this to, they often say, yeah, the stress. Now, there may be an established order of government, but there's usually a lot of stress, maybe from parents' expectations, zero tolerance to weaknesses, perfectionism, like what we have here in Singapore, and also the lack of joy. Okay, so these three tools: irreplaceable the father, reduction of stress, okay, and joyful atmospheres, are very, very, very key to set someone completely healed from ADHD. Okay, and like I said before, engagement with me or other doctors who think this way, who teach this way, are very key to getting the person healed. Okay, so ADHD is completely reversible. And like I said, some may be misdiagnosed. So I hope this gives you clarity. Please like this video, comment on this video, subscribe to this video, and most importantly, share this video. Share this video because you may be the answer to your friends' problems, because they may have kids who have ADHD. So please share this video. It's a short 6-7 minute video, but I hope this gives you clarity and certainty that you may be lacking in when you have a kid with ADHD. So God bless you, and I'll see you on the next video.